Recorded live from Orlando, Florida and Nashville, Tennessee, you're listening to The Dapper Danielle Show, starring Ian Wilson, Clarence Kelly. And now, here's your host, the one and only, The Dapper Danielle.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Dapper Danielle Show. I am the Dapper Danielle, and today I'm only joined by my other co-host, Clarence Kelly, our other member of the Three Musketeers, I guess we'll call ourselves, is the Mouseketeers. Yes, which is, oh my goodness, one of my favorite Mickey Mouse cartoons. Anyway, but he is currently participating in a wedding and is part of the wedding party and all this other fun stuff. So we're like, you know what? This will kind of be just a little bit of a shorter episode. I don't want to talk about too many history things because the next things coming up, I do want to get Ian's opinion on. But I have some fun topics for you though, Clarence, being our music aficionado and kind of tying these last thoughts of Halloween.
Okay, you didn't mention anything music when we were prepping for the show just a few minutes ago.
I know.
Now I'm intrigued.
I kind of wanted to save it as a surprise. I just told Clarence how. We're not done just talking about the Halloween parties. I know we talked about them last episode, and I did say that the first Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party did happen in the 90s. I didn't elaborate onto what the actual first Halloween bash was that happened in the 70s and who performed. So I kind of, we'll get into it.
You didn't mention any of this. Here's the thing. If anybody who's listening, who has been following or watching Danielle's content for quite a while, you know, there's always something else that she hasn't mentioned. There's always another piece that she's waiting to pull out for the right moment to just share, another little hint, a little thing to sprinkle in there. So
isn't that, or am I just forgetful? And I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, there's also this random thing. I don't know.
I think I think the philosophy behind it is you can't let all the cats out of the bag. You gotta hold some back for later.
That's right.
You know, just to have a little bit more to share later on for there to be an episode 2. You know,
keep them wanting more, keep them on their toes.
Exactly. Yes.
But yes, and we have some other fun things that we need to cover and talk about in this episode too, like some other, not really breaking Disney news. I feel like some of this was announced, some of this just happened this past week, and things that we do know have been announced for next year. So should we go ahead and jump on into that, Clarence? Do you think we should jump into the news?
I think before we jump into the news, we need to say a big thank you to everyone who has signed up to Patreon in the past 2 weeks, because there has been an influx of people, which is very exciting, and we got to shout some people out.
Yes, and now y'all, I know I've been mentioning the Patreon over here on the podcast. I've probably been mentioning it more here on the podcast than any of my other platforms, and I mentioned it in a story on my Instagram about how I was mailing out stuff, and actually they should be arriving now for the first 20 members of the Patreon family. I sent you guys a keychain.
I've seen some comments that people have already got them and shared.
Fabulous. So. And I had a shipping fiasco, and I was like, but just letting you know, you too could check it out. So we actually have over 300 members now as part of the paid and free version, but we have a couple of people that have just added on to our top tier of the Patreon family. So we want to make sure that they get their appropriate shout out. They're part of our refresher family, and it's going to be Ashley E. And then this is a duo. They have a shared account, and this is going to be Travis and Crystal. And then I believe the name is pronounced Michaela. I am so sorry, babe, if I pronounce your name incorrectly, but I love how it's spelled. But it's like
it's a very fancy spelling of Michaela.
It is, but I think it's more that it's Michaela, you know, because the Mykaela. Or at least I assume that's how it's pronounced.
We've said it both ways, so one of us is going to be right.
One of us is right. But thank you again. Thank you so much for being part of our Patreon family and for hanging out. I posted a couple of questions in there. Some of the burning questions I have for the paid members is I dumpster dived this bear statue. Clarence, did you see a picture of my little bear
No,
side
what?
table?
No, what?
Okay, hold on. I will show you a picture real quick. And unfortunately, you do have to be one of the paid members to be able to give your insight. Clarence, I will give your insight though right now.
Okay.
So I pulled into my neighborhood the other day. Actually, right after I came back from Nashville, and I forgot to tell the whole family about this, but I was just driving by, and there is this random bear like side table.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that amazing? It's a little black bear, and he's holding up like a little stump or something like that on top of his head.
You just found that?
For free! He was next to the dumpster.
That is insane. I'm obsessed with that. I want that.
I know.
I'll buy it from you.
No, you can't buy it from me because I have grandiose plans for my bear little side table thing. And he has hardly any damage. There is one scuff, but it's in the very back on the top. I can easily fix that, and my plan is to fix that. But I proposed to the Patreon family, and I asked, okay, he currently lives in my bathroom. And if you did not know, and I don't think anybody really knows this except for the Patreon family now, is that my bathroom is completely themed to Frontierland.
Mhm.
Like, Clarence has seen it. And
I can attest to it, yes.
You were actually pretty impressed with my Frontierland bathroom.
I was. I walked, I remember I visited after you had done it, after you had like redone it, and I walked in, I'm like, oh, it's all Frontierland. This is really fun. I think this is clever.
But it's not like cheesy Frontierland.
No, it's very tastefully done, I'd say.
Yes, it has like concept art Frontierland from Disneyland. It's very 60s, 70s aesthetic in this giant wall art that I have. It was procured from me from Cast Connections from a cast member friend. And I was like, where am I going to put this? I originally was going to put it right here behind me, and I could not find a safe way of being able to put it up anywhere because it's heavy and it's big, y'all. And we don't know exactly where they're from. We think they're actually from one of the Wilderness Lodge rooms. Pretty sure.
I remember walking in and being very jealous of that because I want that.
Thanks. And then I have this big old wagon wheel I found for sale from one of the maybe TJ Maxx or Home Goods, one of the places. It was like just on super discount because nobody who in Florida is going to have a random wagon wheel just attached in their apartment complex in Orlando. You know, nobody else.
That's just you.
Just me. And so I got that. I found a damaged like boot ornament that the top fell off. I'm like, this is great. It's just on my shelf. I have a piece of Pecos Bill and Slewfoot Sue, and then I have a photo of the original gang from where is it? From the Golden Horseshoe. And I actually procured a couple more items and some vintage photos that will be arriving in my mailbox. And y'all will be seeing the video also on YouTube here very, very soon of me unboxing them. And it's a black and white image of the canoes traveling behind the Liberty Bell in the 80s, or actually this would have been the late 80s, in Magic Kingdom. And it has Big Thunder and Tom Sawyer Island right there. And I'm like, what a great little homage to add to my bathroom. But now I have this bear. And refocus on the bear, right?
Yes, so back to the bear.
The idea is, how am I going to make him look like a country bear? And which country bear should I create him to look like? Y'all, I am a very crafty person. I am an artsy girly.
Does he have a space around his neck?
No. It's like I would have to paint on anything. So I could also take clay.
So the arms touch his head.
The arms do touch his head.
Dang, because I was gonna say you could like throw a bolo tie on him and that'd be cute. But
I mean, who's to say I can't and just make it look like, because I could also take clay or air drying clay, make him, I'm gonna have to probably white him out anyway to make him a solid base color because he's a dark jet black.
So you're planning on making him a country bear?
I'm planning on making him a country bear, but the debate currently is happening, and it's pretty neck and neck right now over on the Patreon side. Is should I make him look like OG Henry, like with his little like half tux thing, and make it look like he has a squished cap and that he's like holding up the top right there, or do I turn him into Big Al?
Oh, that's difficult.
I
Oh
know. And
man.
that's why I'm so torn about it. I haven't done anything just yet. I know I'm going to have to do some kind of work, but I need the opinions of the Patreon paid tiered family, and that's the debate that's currently happening over there. So make sure if you are part of the paid Patreon levels, put your votes in there. On the available to everybody side, opinions that I'm looking for is that we're already planning for con season next year.
Yes.
And I've put in a request saying, hey guys, what type of topics of conversation do you want to hear about? Because the next parks that I would be talking about and like going through the history of, um, it would be a lot, right? Because the next one, it would
Mhm.
probably be either Epcot or Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom's under construction. I'm not touching that one. Epcot would be
So
great,
Epcot.
but would there be something else? Something else I could either like Disney Dan, he wants to do something
Uh-huh.
together for another panel. So what type of topics of conversation would you be interested in hearing from myself and Disney Dan, other content creators? What do you want to hear about? So make sure you leave those reviews also over on the Patreon.
Yes. For people who don't know, we've been at MegaCon the past 2 years, and Danielle has hosted a panel, and she has basically done a walkthrough of the park as if you're going through the Magic Kingdom with her. That was the first one we did, which was 2 years ago now. And then
Right.
last year we did a walkthrough of Hollywood Studios.
And I did not
And
time it well. It was so poorly done. And that's why it's not, Clarence was there
it
to
was
attest.
good. It was just Danielle had so much to say
So much
about Hollywood
information.
Studios, we ran out of time. And so it was just a lot. So
It
we're
was.
gonna have to tone it down a little bit for Epcot
Well,
so we don't go over the time limit or whatever we talk about next time. We also had a different panel though with other influencers because we had Cole, we had Dan, we
we had
had
Lem, who's
Lem, that's right.
and he was transitioning from he was transitioning from Magic Bands and Trash Cans to now Live Laugh Lem.
Yeah, he was
Uh,
changing his social handles.
right. So
Yeah.
we had a great diverse group of live streamer, YouTuber, myself, because I don't know what category I really fit in, and then you have Cole, who does a lot of the goofy and fun videos with the unboxing. So we had a good
Mhm.
diverse group, and it had great responses, and I
Yeah,
think
that was a
people
lot of
do want to
fun.
hear something along those lines again. So again, that's why we want to hear from you on the Patreon side. Let us know. Check that out. Those links will also be in the description notes of the show, so you can go check those out for yourself.
Yes. And one more thing, I'm going to plug one more thing.
Yes.
So I was at an estate sale recently, as you know, because you were on I basically was FaceTiming Danielle the whole time because this
Clarence is
estate
my
sale
personal shopper.
here in Nashville was all Disney stuff. It was an insane amount of Disney stuff. I'm wearing a cowboy Mickey tie
It
that I
looks so
got. It's so
good.
fun. I love this little tie. I got other Disney ties too that you'll probably see on the podcast. The other thing, in one of the previous Halloween episodes we talked about Disney's House of Villains.
Yes.
And I happened to find a VHS copy of
Yes.
Disney's House of Villains. And so I think what we're going to try to do probably this Wednesday, so it'll be the day after this podcast episode comes out,
Mm-hmm.
a Patreon watch through of Disney's House of Villains with me and Danielle. So we're going to try to set that up. It'll either be on this old TV and I'll have a camera at this old TV and VHS player back here, or I'm going to try to like plug it into my computer and have it play directly. Ideally that way will work because the TV is going to be but that's a backup option, the TV. So if you want to do like a mystery science theater type thing with me and Danielle watching Disney's Mickey's House of Villains, yeah, that'll be Wednesday night on Patreon. So with that, I think we should finally get into our news segments.
Instead of talking about my random bears and everything else in between, my Frontierland bathroom.
Exactly. We can start talking about Soarin Over America.
Yes, some news segments that have come out here recently that I kind of alluded to was the announcement of Soarin Over America is going to be coming to Disney World and Disneyland in honor of our 250th birthday here in America next year.
Okay.
And I'm like, everybody was kind of like mixed reviews over this, and they're just like, okay, great. I'm actually really excited about this, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited about this. Like, I I mentioned this over on the Countdown Show podcast with Megan, and how I'm excited for this because it's going to focus on all of America, right?
Yes.
Not just soaring over California. So, which is very cool. It's very impressive. But as a Floridian kid that would watch soaring over California in Florida, I'm like, she doesn't even go here. Why is she here? Why are we watching this?
Mhm.
And then like the world version made more sense because we were in Epcot, right? And we were soaring all over the world. That's great.
Yes.
But now to have an America focus, and with how prevalent and how like maybe after working on the Epcot book, right? And finalizing that and realizing how much of the America Pavilion was at the heart and design of Epcot, I'm so excited to have an American homage in Soarin'. Like I kind of feel like that'll just tie all of them together with the American Adventure. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it'll be cool. Here's what I want to do. Let's pick 5 locations. What 5 locations do we think are going to be featured in Soarin' Over America? So, because all I've seen of the announcements so far are just memes of like soaring over a Walmart parking lot and like a gas station. But I feel like they're gonna pick legit landmarks.
Yes.
Do you have any in mind that you think they're gonna hit? Because I have some in mind that immediately come to mind, like, oh, they'll probably go there.
I mean, my major mindset is probably New York.
That's one of mine as well. New York City.
Of course, New York City. They had basically the Los Angeles scene, but New York. And what else am I thinking? What randomly popped into my mind was New Orleans.
Oh, that's an interesting thought.
During Mardi Gras season.
Yes, I could totally see that. Have some
Right?
jazz music playing up from the ground. Oh yeah, I can totally envision going down like Bourbon Street.
Yeah, no, I think definitely New Orleans, or even if they didn't do New Orleans, they would have to do Savannah, Georgia. I feel like.
Oh,
Just
I
like,
doubt they're. I can't imagine they do Savannah.
No,
It's so niche, and there's
it
not.
is so niche. Maybe that's just like the I don't know. Maybe just 'cause we like
Savannah's
Savannah.
gorgeous. Savannah is gorgeous, but it's gorgeous from the ground. I think that's the issue.
Accurate.
There's so many trees that cover the streets and everything. It'd be hard to video anything from the sky.
True.
That's why I think like it's got to be an open air space.
Right.
So like my first thought is Mount Rushmore. They're going to hit Mount Rushmore.
Oh.
They got to.
Right.
New York City, of course. I think Bourbon Street's an interesting thought. I immediately thought of the Grand Canyon as well.
Grand Canyon. They have to do some kind of nod to California and Florida though. So wouldn't it be cool if they did the Keys of Florida?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like the islands, and then they like circle the 0 landmarker and then fly off over the water or something like that.
That'd be cool. Yeah. I figure if they're going to do a Florida, they're going to do Walt Disney World.
Right. Or is that just what it's going to end on? Because it always ends
That's where
in
it's going to
Epcot.
end. Probably. I doubt they'll do a different Florida spot other than that, though. Unless they put it in the California one.
Right.
But I imagine the video is going to be mostly the same other than the ending for the two of them.
I mean, they'll probably have some type of desert scene. I assume with like cowboys or something like that to represent Texas.
That's my thought. It's either going to be the Grand Canyon or Zion National Park.
Right.
Would be my guess for like the desert scene, or Yellowstone.
Yellowstone.
Could be Yellowstone National Park. It could be I also think there's a possibility they do Seattle and the Space Needle.
That would be a cool one, because then it kind of ties in like, what's our tall structure that would replace the scene of the Eiffel Tower, right?
Yeah,
It would
I
be a
think it'd be
leaning
the
Space Needle.
It'd be either the Space Needle or the Empire State Building, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. It could literally be either one.
Yeah, I love just speculating about this. I could do this forever.
I think that makes me more excited about it, though. I think it'd be really cool. And but then I'm like, okay, you have a list of some really great options. If none of these make the list, I will be having so many questions of why. You know,
What were we thinking?
what were we thinking?
Oh,
Did we not get
Statue of
permits?
Liberty.
Oh, yes.
I can't believe I didn't even think of the Statue of Liberty.
She's
That's got to be in there.
Poster. She's got to be in it.
Yeah, she's gonna be in it. Of
It's
course,
gonna be the opening landmark.
I've been seeing so many ads for that like betting site Kalshi lately that like if I want someone to put bets on Kalshi for like what landmarks are going to appear in the Soarin Over America.
Oh my goodness. The like random side tangent on that. Yeah, them, and then I'm getting all the Hard Rock online betting ads, but they're horrible AI. It is AI.
That's the Kalshi ones. It's
junk.
Awful AI. It's so bad.
And I'm like, are people like falling for this? Do you think this is good advertising? Or maybe it's because they didn't pay anything for the AI slop. That's why they're able to put out these ads, and that's why we're seeing them all over the place.
It's probably part of it. They have a expanded like ad buy budget because they didn't pay anybody to act.
So cringe. And for that, I'm like, no, I don't want to work with, don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
The Dapper Danielle Show will be right back after these messages.
Anyway, something else that you and I have interesting opinions on.
Okay.
Is the other, I don't know. I knew about this. I knew this was announced. It is a new interactive attraction that's going to be coming to replace the NBA experience. And when was this announced? This was announced back in.
This was announced back in like March.
Right.
So February or March. It was after I started working at the place that shall not be named because it is relatively similar to this.
Very similar. And I think what's interesting is I really anticipated this being canceled. Like, really? I don't know. So a little more context for y'all. So NBA Experience opened and literally closed within months because of COVID, right? In 2020. Mm-hmm. And now a new vendor is coming in to replace it. Think of it like Disney Quest, but on steroids and geared towards adults. And it's called Level 99 and is an interactive, like arcade, like full immersive experience, but there's also drinks and food involved. Mm-hmm. Right. I don't know. I'm just kind of shocked that it is moving forward. I kind of assumed like maybe it would be canceled because they would realize they have to have certain permits or something wouldn't be available, or they realized, hey, this is just not the demographic we're looking for, but it's still moving forward. I'm kind of surprised.
I figure, okay, because the way I find it easiest to tell people about is basically the TV show Wipeout meets Dave & Buster's.
Yes.
Because it's like big interactive challenges, big games. You do it with other people, and you get to like drink and have food. And I guess their big thing is Detroit style pizza, which is interesting.
We don't have any of that represented anywhere else here in Disney Springs or in Disney World. So this would be the only place to get Detroit style pizza. Okay.
Yeah. And so I think in theory, the idea could work in Disney Springs. And I do think Disney Springs is probably the best place to try this.
Yes.
Personally. I worked for a different company as the art director. And I'm not going to say it because I signed an NDA, and they are the type of company that will sue me because they're all terrible people. Yeah. It was literally the worst job I've ever had. The worst bosses I've ever had. Yeah, I have so many horror stories working at this place, but it was the same concept in that it was a big interactive space. We opened one.
And we will say, I don't want to give too much away. This company is not affiliated. These are completely separate companies.
No, totally different companies.
Level 99 and this other one.
Yeah, I did not work for Level 99. I worked for a different company that did a similar thing and did not do it. Probably didn't do it as well as Level 99. and probably is not doing it as well as Level 99.
Well,
And
the reason why one got a contract at Disney World and the other one did not.
yeah.
Yeah.
I maybe on a Patreon episode we can put it behind a paywall. I can share a bunch of my horror stories from working at this at the other place.
Let us
because
know,
it was
Patreon
terrible.
family. Do you want to know the tea?
I started there in December of last year and I quit in March because it was so bad. It was
so bad.
It was so terrible. I literally just walked in and quit. I was like, I can't take this anymore. This is the worst thing. This is the worst place I've ever been. I literally was like, you're the worst boss I've ever had. And what's funny is I had an exit interview with the CEO after, and everything I said got my boss, the CMO, fired like the week after I quit. So I'm like, okay, there's some justice in the world, but my gosh, it was, wow. We can move on.
So to say that, like, for the Dapper Danielle, because y'all, I during this whole time when Clarence was dealing with this, I felt very sympathetic, and I'm like, bro, I can't help you. I want to be able to fix this. I don't know, maybe this is just the older sister side coming out. I'm like, I want to be able to fix the issue for you, but I can't. And so then to see a similar concept coming into Disney Springs, I'm a little weary. I will say that I'm a little
yes, I'm also very wary of this. I do think that building is cursed. I think anything that enters that building is not going to do well, personally.
Yeah. I mean, and there's a couple of points like that have very similar cursed energy throughout, and a lot of them actually have to do with the Eisner era, right? So like
I love Michael Eisner.
I know, and it's like one of those things of so interesting, right? So you have like Alien Invader, right? And then it became Stitch's Great Escape, and then now it's vacant because basically the land is cursed. And then now you have Disney Quest. Disney Quest fell into obscurity. NBA literally disappeared within months, and then now you have Level 99 coming in. And is the land cursed? Is there bad juju associated with certain projects that were created in the late 80s, early 90s? We don't know.
Here's the thing though. Look at all of the great successes from that time as well that are still around.
They are still around, but are we holding on to them because of the millennia nostalgia? And were they done well enough? And so like, for example, the reason why the Stitch's Great Escape has not been removed is because it costs too much money to be able to touch it. And because in the 80s and 90s, when the previous thing was created, they did roundabout ways and very cheap ways of being able to install these things. So it caused more damage than good, and the area could not be recycled over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the same thing with Disney Quest. Can it not be recycled over?
I mean, the whole building's been gutted by now for NBA. Like,
oh, yeah.
They were doing huge renovations to that building. I think it's just the part of downtown or Disney Springs that it's in is so out of the way. Like, traffic. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing working against it is foot traffic. Because you only have, on that end, you have Cirque du Soleil, you have the House of Blues, and then right next to it, you have Splitsville and a movie theater. So you're really only walking over there if you're going to dinner at Splitsville, or you're going bowling, you're going to a show, either Cirque du Soleil or House of Blues. So maybe this will get people to walk over there more.
But that's the thing, though, is that they're all high-ticketed multi-party event spaces. So either you're walking over to that side to only go to Cirque, to only go to House of Blues, to only go to Splitsville, or to only go to Level 99 now. You're not hopping between all of them because none of them allow that much time in one day.
Exactly. Yes, that's very true. They are destination spots all in that end.
A solid destination spot, and like Cirque du Soleil is hurting. They're trying to fill seats super bad. Which is unfortunate because it's such a good show. It is, it's fantastic. It's great homage to Disney art and to Disney history, and they just can't fill the theater because is it the marketing? Is it I think a lot of it is actually the marketing. I don't think
probably
it's being pushed well enough, or why why isn't it being pushed in the resort aspect? I don't know. But I have one more piece of news as I'm like totally sidetracking away
Yes.
from all that. Yeah, that's why you guys watch these episodes and listen to this podcast, is mostly just for my rants and my random Disney thoughts and opinions on these things. That's why you're here, and I appreciate you all for listening already this far into the episode. Okay. But the last piece of news that I thought you would also find interesting is that here this past week, the ultimate Halloween Disney Day was made for Make-A-Wish and brought to you by YouTube and Mr. Beast himself.
Mr. Beast. It's Mr. Beast.
And it was, so this happened over in Disneyland Resort. It was a spectacular 40 wishes coming true. So 40 Make-A-Wish kids were brought in, and they had the ultimate Disney Day with Disney and Mr. Beast hosted YouTube with some of the world's top creators at Disneyland Resort, all themed around Halloween, right? So they had, let's see what they had. I'm reading through some of these. Mark Rober, is that right?
Mark Robert, yeah.
Was busy dropping eggs off of the Millennium Falcon. They were doing like science tests. I saw this video.
Okay.
Like an
that's
egg
fun.
drop, and these kids had to like create in like this egg drop, basically. Very, very interesting. What else was there? They had the chocolate chef. I can't pronounce his name for the life of me.
Chef Amari Guichon?
Guichon, yeah, I think.
Guichon?
He does those like really larger than life chocolate sculptures. He did the very impressive Mickey Mouse. And I think he's done like they look so super realistic. He was there also.
Yeah, I also see that Dr. Mike is there, which feels really weird.
Yeah, because who's Dr. Mike?
Dr. Mike is just like a YouTube doctor, and I just, for a Make-A-Wish with a bunch of kids, like, I guess, I don't know.
But all these creators though have a partnership with YouTube specifically, so they are endorsed by YouTube, and that's probably why they were brought in.
Gotcha. Yeah, probably. I will say it. I think it's cool that Disney does something like this. I think Make-A-Wish is a really great organization and does great work. So historically, John Cena has been like the number one celebrity Make-A-Wish request for kids, but now that he's retiring from WWE as of this year, this is like his farewell tour this year, which is coming to an end. Are we gonna see Mr. Beast take his place? I think that's a possibility.
I think so, because like the amount of people and kids that recognize and watch Mr. Beast videos, and his collaborations with other YouTubers that also cater to all these, I'm going to call it iPad kids.
Yeah.
They love Mr. Beast. So I think he probably has more pull than John Cena does.
I think so. I think right now, especially with younger kids, he does have more pull than John Cena. But yeah, I love John Cena. I know Mr. Beast is kind of controversial at times. Like, some people love him, some people hate him. I don't have a problem with Mr. Beast. I kind of like him. I do think a lot of like the organizations he helps are very good. I think his chocolate company actually is very good because it's helping end child slavery in third world countries, which is huge. I mean, like, the major chocolate companies that we buy from in the US, like Hershey, Nestle, like, utilize child slavery and labor in third world countries to pick the cocoa plant. So Mr. Beast's chocolate company, Feastables, are like purposefully not utilizing that and putting money towards ending that and helping educate kids in third world countries. So I do think there's a lot. There is some like messiness with Mr. Beast. I will be completely honest, but I think for the most part,
any major corporation or anybody that deals in the world of consumerism and anything like that, there is always messiness.
I think for the most part, though, he's trying to do good things, and I respect that.
There are a lot of other
No.
creators on YouTube that are way more problematic. And
Exactly. There are so many terrible people on the internet. Like, let's not zero in on the one guy who's trying to do something decent and maybe, I mean, yeah.
at least he's
Anyway.
putting his money towards something,
Yeah, I
or at least
mean-
a good portion of it.
For the most part, I do think his content is pretty rough to watch most of the time, though, because it's definitely geared towards like just keeping your attention the whole time, and it's very in your face. But yeah, so I think he's going to overtake John Cena. Something too
Yes.
that I wanted to look up was just what like the top 5 Make-A-Wish requests were, and I wanted to see where Disney World and Disneyland sat within that, because I know it's a pretty common request. And so Disneyland, I saw, was ranked number 4 for adult requests, specifically Disneyland. Out of like the top 5. So number 1 is like helping pay for basic needs and medical bills. 2 is a vacation. Hawaii is the top choice, apparently. 3 is travel to a family reunion. And then number 4 is tickets to Disneyland. And then 5 is like a day on the town, basically just like something nice, like going to the spa or dinner. And that's with adults.
And that would explain why there's so many of the, like, they have the big family reunions and they're held here in Disney World.
Well, so there's also a top 5 for children, which is very interesting. And number 1 for children is a trip to Disney World specifically. So adults lean towards Disneyland. The kids usually pick Disney World, which I thought was very interesting. And then number 2 is meeting a celebrity. Number 3 is international travel. Number 4 is a trip to Hawaii, which is really funny. And then number 5 is a shopping spree.
Which I feel like a trip to Hawaii would be the most boring one of them all.
I don't know. I'm sure if you're a kid that loves playing on the beach, like Hawaii's probably awesome. Going snorkeling, seeing some sea turtles, like it's probably sick.
We did love swimming in the pool, like that. Like when we were little, like, can we go swimming? Can we go swimming?
Mm-hmm.
I could see that.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. That was the top 5 for adults and children as far as Make-A-Wish requests.
Good to know. Well, thanks for sharing that, buddy. I appreciate you looking up that information.
Yeah. I think we should head into our cast member memoir or fan mail, really, for this one. We got a very funny letter, which Danielle, I think you should read for everybody.
I will read this one. So it's not necessarily a review or anything, but make sure if you're listening to this show, make sure you are leaving those stars and those reviews wherever you're listening or watching this episode, because honestly, that's how we're going to fight the algorithm to be able to be heard and for people to know that we do have a show, which is great. So this one is actually in reference to a comment I made in the last episode about the skeletons and femurs flying through windows. If you did not listen to the episode, go back and listen to that. But this one is from Connie, and it says, "Hey y'all, on the last episode, Danielle asked what would happen with a giant Halloween skeleton and hurricanes. My husband used to be an insurance agent. Now we are in Missouri, so we have tornadoes, not hurricanes. But he said generally it should be the same. As long as your insurance policy covered storm damage, it would cover a giant femur coming through your window or wall." And then she does go on to say, further, it is your giant skeleton that went through yours or someone else's window. You could possibly have your insurance cover a replacement skeleton also. We actually, she said, we actually had our insurance buy us new electric smoker after ours was damaged in a hailstorm. Now you know. So thank you so much, Connie and your husband. We really appreciate you giving your insurance insider tips about how you can also protect your home from a giant skeleton coming through your front door.
I love that. That's so funny.
See, these are the questions you got to ask when you're filling out your insurance policy with your with those people, right? You're just like, hey, By the way, I have these really big Halloween decor things, and if we have a sudden hurricane or tornado come through, what's the insurance policy? Can I get this skeleton covered for a good solid $500? Just the skeleton, and then additional property damage coverage. Like, how does that work?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just imagine Connie's husband having like a local ad that's like, has this ever happened to you? And it's just like a skeleton flying through someone's window. It's like, call me.
Call me. I might know what to do.
I think that would be hysterical. If so Connie and your husband, feel free to use that idea, just shoot me a little credit, like for
any other insurance families that are in the insurance world. Dapper Dad used to be part of the insurance world for a very long time, and so why didn't we ask Dad this? Well, no, he did more life insurance, not necessarily
he wasn't doing
property.
like property or storm insurance or things like that.
No, he was dealing with what you do with real skeletons afterwards. That's what he was covering, not the giant fake ones.
The Dapper Danielle Show will be right back after these messages.
Wow.
Sorry to get morbid there. Speaking of Halloween and
speaking of real
stuff.
skeletons and dead things, let's move on to our main attraction, or main attraction that is still within the Halloween theme. This will be the last episode for October, before we kind of switch gears. But Danielle, I'm really itching to know what you were talking about with the 70s Disney Halloween thing.
Okay, so y'all, in the very beginning of Disney World Halloween themed entertainment, we did kind of allude to that the very first Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party did happen in 1995, right? That information is true. That is accurate. And if you search when was the first Halloween party, that's the answer that you get. However, that was not the first Halloween themed event that happened at Walt Disney World. One of the very first ones happened in 1979 at the Magic Kingdom, and it was part of like a music series that they were doing. It was called World Series of Entertainment, and they were really pushing like, hey, Disney World is the place for nightlife kind of thing. And this was at the end of the 70s, beginning of the 80s. And Clarence, do you see this picture that I've uploaded into our show notes?
I do, and I'm reading some of the names, and I'm just amazed.
Right? Okay, so y'all, this event happened on October 27th of 1979, and it lasted from 9 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. So this was a separated ticketed event. Your ticket was, get ready for this, a whopping $8.99. Right? And the way that they sold this, and they made this such a big deal, was that this was they called this the world's largest Halloween party, plus unlimited use of over 45 Magic Kingdom attractions, because we were still in the e-ticket book system. This would continue until 81. So this is the end of that the ticket book series, right? So for $8.99, you could go to all these different things, and they had musical guest stars. And the musical guest stars were icons of radio from the 70s, which were Dr. Hook, who was known, and I love that they were the headline, Dr. Hook. None of you know who this is, honestly, unless you are fluent in your 70s discography, right? Mm-hmm. The top song that they promoted underneath them was When You're in Love with a Beautiful Woman, was the top song of the mid to late 70s. And then Michael Johnson, not Michael Jackson, Michael Johnson, This Night Won't Last Forever was the hit song of the time. And then this one I thought was very interesting. This band was Sea Level, with special guest stars, because they weren't that popular just yet, The Police.
Imagine seeing The Police at Disney World for $8.
For
that's insane.
Well, okay,
Which,
so
I mean, adjusted for inflation. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up an inflation calculator.
okay. Well, the song that they were pushing for promoting the police was, of course, Roxanne, right? So that was the hit song of the time. I need to double check the police's discography because out of all the bands that are listed here, the only people that we probably still know about today are the police, right? They're the most relevant ones. And it's so funny to see the beginning of their rise to fame and how much Magic Kingdom and Disney probably had a part of that.
Yeah,
right?
I do think
because
police
this is pre MTV.
This it was it 1979? When did MTV start?
Started in 80, right?
Let's see, 81. You're right. It is pre
Right.
MTV. But let's see, like, so I just need to check the discography. Yeah, the police
So
released their first record in 78. So yeah, this was pretty recently after they had got started. Let's see, Regatta de Blanc came out in 79, which I do believe Roxanne is on that.
Right. And then Message in a Bottle is also in that same album that released in 79. So this would have been right after all these songs released. So they're still trying to get out there and they're trying to be new.
Oh, actually, no. So Message in a Bottle. So Roxanne is on the 1980 record.
Okay.
Zenyatta Mandata, I believe. Which that's their big one.
Well, it would have been their 80 record because this happened in 79. This is what they were promoting.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. No, it's not on there. Okay. I'm really don't know my police discography. Let's see. Roxanne was on their first record. Okay. Outlandos de Amor.
Which was when?
78. Okay. So that was the big song they were known for at the time.
Right. So this was the beginning of their era. And it wouldn't be until MTV and they started getting into music videos and their music started getting pulled for 80s movies. Right.
Yeah. I do think 1980, like their Zenyatta Mandata was like the breakout record in 1980. Right. That's so funny.
Most of their really big ones, like Every Breath You Take, that's the one I associate with the police, didn't come out until 83. So
wow. Yeah.
To like, I want to know, like, there's no photos of this event. There's no other additional news publications that I really can find anywhere other than the ad for the event. So y'all, there are so many pieces of history that are not documented anywhere because, again, photos didn't exist or people were just genuinely living in the moment, man. And unless a news media was covering it or was being paid to cover it, that was the only reason why we have any notable mention of this. Right?
I'm sure there's someone that had like a film camera with them at this event that it's in their grandma's attic. All these just photos of the police in front of Cinderella's castle or something.
Right. Or where I want to know where they performed because more than likely it would have been in Cosmic Rays before Cosmic Rays really became a thing because that was the only other stage that we had in Magic Kingdom.
Uh-huh.
It would have been in front of the castle. Well, not even that.
They probably would have built something out for it.
Kind of like what they used to do during Night of Joy when they had
this
temporary
I imagine there was like
place.
A temporary stage they would have put up.
Yeah.
Especially for like a big thing like that. I imagine if they're doing it almost like a little mini music festival in the Magic Kingdom, they'll probably have a main stage.
Yeah.
And they're doing everything from that. Also, I did look at the inflation calculator, which this is still insane for how cheap this is.
How much?
$8.98 adjusted for inflation is $40.17. So even today, if you could go to the Magic Kingdom for $40 and see the police, that would still be an insane deal.
Right. And then to see all these other, at the time, really big music stars of radio and these bands get to ride all the attractions without having to buy multiple ticket books to re-ride Haunted Mansion if you wanted to. And what was the other thing that they listed in here? The list that you can purchase your tickets at Sears. Wow, the peak day of Disney and Sears collaboration. Who knew,
Yep.
y'all?
Or you could buy them at the gate for $9.95 per person. So it was $1 more. Okay.
Goodness.
That's hysterical.
But
And then there was stuff at the Contemporary Resort, Top of the World. Frankie Lane, an American musical tradition, was performing at Top of the World Contemporary Resort. And then Johnny Guarnieri, a piano legend, was playing at the Village Lounge, which where was that in Contemporary?
no, Village Lounge was over at where Disney Springs is today. That would have been the Disney Village.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So they were doing stuff all over.
They were
Disney
really
World.
pushing their live entertainment, and we're like, okay, because remember Top of the World, which is now the, oh my goodness, what is it called? Not Steakhouse 71. It's the one on the very top. Grand Californian? No, not Californian. California.
I think so. It's the California
Grill.
thingy. Okay.
Goodness, why was I blanking on that? Yes, located at the very top of the Contemporary Resort. During the 70s, this was like a 70s bar, groovy aesthetic, live entertainment, sometimes a disco. Y'all need to look up pictures of the Contemporary Resort in the 70s and how it was peak, I tell you. And I'm oh goodness, there's so like I can't look at photos of the Contemporary Resort from the 70s because it makes me angry of how the Contemporary looks now.
And apparently they've changed the I'm looking it up now. Top of the World Lounge is now the name of the Bay Lake Lounge.
Yes, because it's supposed to be like kind of like an homage to it.
Well, it's now a Villain's Lair.
Right.
Atop Bay Lake Tower, where it used to just be like classic monorail.
Yes.
They've changed it so much since we were last there. My goodness.
I know. And that's where it's like, I don't, maybe it's just because people, the everyday guest, and I understand this. The everyday guest does not understand how cool this once was, right? So when Disney tries to make homages to it and they don't go full wholehearted into it, people are like, why is this so old? And I'm like, no, this is peak 70s decor. We had the acrylic trees, the freaking acrylic trees in the Contemporary Resort. Y'all, I could go on a rant about the, oh goodness, I will go on a rant about this. The acrylic trees were located in the main lobby area, and it kind of tied in with the New Mexico type art style, the Mary Blair art style of the 70s that was the center of the Contemporary Resort. And I want one of these acrylic tree light fixtures so bad in my home. Like, I don't know who, that's my goal. When people ask me, Danielle, why do you want a sugar daddy or sugar mommy? It's for a couple of reasons. It is mostly, it's not because I want Birkins. I don't want Lamborghinis or Ferraris. I want a custom acrylic tree to be able to put in my apartment that's reminiscent of 1970s Contemporary Resort. And I also want stuff from the Jim Henson auction, which is currently happening right now, actually, as we're doing this episode. But and have I looked a couple of times? Absolutely. Can I justify paying $500 for some of these things? No, I cannot. Because my car, as soon as I pay for something, my car will start acting up and I need to, yeah.
Yeah. That's wild.
So,
yeah, I'm looking at pictures of the acrylic trees and oh my gosh.
Right?
They are amazing. So if anybody listening, podcast at thedapperdanielle.com, if you have access to an acrylic tree that you want to gift to Danielle,
or you
just
know how
hit us
to
up
make
there.
one. If you're an artist and you work in metalworking or light fixtures or something like that, and you look up a picture of these trees and you're like, oh, I could probably recreate that. If you can make it about the size of this lamp right here behind me, because that's where it would go. And I don't care if it takes up a little more space. I need this to be a main focal point in my home. Okay. Just letting you know. If we need to set up a payment plan, I can work on a payment plan, right? Unless there's a sugar mommy or sugar daddy that wants to reach out and be like, hey, honey, don't worry. I got you. We're going to slide that money across the table and we'll take care of it. So that, boom, it'll be right there behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness.
Perfect.
Anyway. Well, that was a long tangent to say how there was a really cool music festival that happened in honor of Halloween at Magic Kingdom in October 27th of 1979, which I think is funny that we are actually recording this episode on Monday, right before this episode releases, which is the 27th currently.
Oh
so
my gosh,
happy
yes.
anniversary to the first event that happened that was Halloween themed and where the police played here at Walt Disney World.
Precursor to Mickey's Not So Scary.
Yes.
Thank you, the police.
Thank you, the police. And Dr. Hook, Michael Johnson, and Sea Level. Also, one thing, just a random other tangent to wrap this up, is that at the very bottom of this, where it says over 45 Magic Kingdom attractions, it says except the shooting gallery, right? So I just did a whole insert in the next book, in book 3, about the shooting gallery and how popular this was and how much history was associated with the shooting gallery over in Disneyland. Even there was 3 at one point in Disneyland. There was one located in Frontierland. There was one located on Disneyland's Main Street, USA. It was in the Penny Arcade. And another one located in Adventureland immediately across from Jungle Cruise. And it was kind of problematic though, because you were hunting big game. So that was one of the first ones to close in the 80s, late 70s. And the shooting gallery, I did not realize, used little pellets, and the customers had to keep reloading them, and that's why they weren't included in the price of this ticket.
Oh, okay.
Because you got 32 rounds or 32 or 38 rounds for $1, which was kind of hefty money, but it was popular. People went over there, they spent good money, and they played the gallery. And the legend goes that these arcades were so popular and these little pellets would damage the displays, but it was Disney, that they would have to go in and repaint them every single night.
That's crazy.
And one of the number one problems was having either faulty equipment or a kid not knowing what they're doing, and ricochets, and how these pellets would come bouncing back out towards guests or the cast members. Wow. And it wasn't until 1984 that the system was updated to the infrared system that stayed for the longest time. And now the attraction is closed here in Magic Kingdom. But I just thought that was a fun little extra tidbit in how I just literally wrote about this.
Dang, I had no idea. That's really funny.
Yeah. So
I love that.
More interesting history. Again, a little sneak peek of what's coming into the 3rd book, y'all.
Yep. What's funny is as we're closing out this episode, I know we said this was going to be a little bit shorter. We still ended up at almost an hour.
Because I'm a yapper is really what it boils down to. It's, oh, goodness.
No, it's perfect. But I think that's probably a good place to call the episode. Yes. Is there anything, as you mentioned, a 3rd book that you're writing, but there is a 2nd book that you should plug as well.
Yes. So again, y'all, I just want to say I kind of announced here a couple of weeks ago that I Love Epcot is currently for pre-sale. It's going to be releasing January 6th. Thank you, y'all, for already pre-ordering the book and making it bump up into one of the top #1 sellers on Amazon. And the book's not even out yet. And you guys have been doing the same thing. Or a lot of people are now realizing, oh, Danielle also wrote another book. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm looking at my algorithm and my statistics. And I think I have so many followers, and people still don't realize I released a first book. I released one called I Love Magic Kingdom. And Ian, of course, is my co-author on that. We've been going back and forth. We have a deadline that's actually due. And I'm waiting for Ian's help. And we're going back and forth with the publisher right now for the 3rd book. Anyway, I'm just so excited about the Epcot one. And so if we piggybacking on what we talked at the very beginning of the episode with MegaCon and how I used to do these little walkarounds, it might just be a snapshot around my book, because by that time MegaCon's happening in the middle of March. Mm-hmm. And I could literally just do a snapshot tour of I Love Epcot and make it a book promotional thing. I already have it pre-written out. I just need to pick out what kind of blurbs I want to say.
Exactly. And then you got to decide where you're starting. World Showcase, which we'll leave that in the book. You don't have to share that right now. I think that's something people got to read in the book.
Yeah, y'all. And y'all aren't going to be happy with some of the answers that are given in that book. But my answers come from Disney training materials from 1982 and from Disney Imagineers, and how they designed your main focal point in the correct direction of World Showcase. So I'm sorry. I'm just going based off historical fact.
It's just facts. It's just facts.
Just facts. Well, thank y'all again so much for listening to this episode. If you are part of the Patreon family, be on the lookout for news and updates of a bonus episode and our hangout that we're going to be doing here on Wednesday. So more information to come.
I'll pull this back up again. Mickey's House of Villains. You'll get to hear the show-stopping musical number, It's Our House Now.
Which is a really good song.
It's phenomenal.
And
Will Mickey and the gang be able to stop the Disney villains and take back the House of Mouse?
We don't know.
I don't remember. It's been a very long time since I've seen this. It's going to be like brand new watching this with y'all. So
it is. It's been years because we can't stream it anywhere. We have to find it in a VHS estate sale to be able to watch this.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And the other thing is that if you are part of any of the paid tiers for the Patreon giveaway, I believe the top 2 tiers, I will be posting the giveaway options for the month of October. Also this week, that information is going to be going out here either today or tomorrow. And I also, if you were part of the $5 tier for the Patreon, I actually do have a couple of items I will be giving away for that tier. They just won't be as top tier as some of the other stuff. So more info to come. Go check out the Patreon. And I think that's all I have now.
Perfect.
Well, thank you again, y'all, so much for listening this far into the episode. We appreciate you so much. Thank you, Clarence. Ian will be back to give his insights on some of the next topics that we're going to talk about here as we finally get past spooky season and get into the month of November and start thinking Merry Hollow Thanksmas, So I'm excited for the 3 Mouseketeers to be back in action. And until then, night, sleep tight, dream of churros tonight.